Hello again, everyone. Mary Rose here at Stitch Bliss Corner, and I hope everyone's feeling good today and in a stitchy mood. uh, I just thought I would do a video because Minister is back from the framers, and once again, everyone's very excited, I should imagine, to see him. And the framer really did a good job on him. The only thing is, I'm thinking that from the little video that I did, he looks a little bit washed out. So when you do look at the video that I've done, just bear in mind that it's all darker than what's showing. And also, there's a dot on the video. That's the light, the overhead light, because I was trying to show him close up. So it doesn't exactly. Well, it's not the best video in the world. I mean, Harlequin wasn't very impressed because he's a bit of a perfectionist. But I think he let it go through to the keeper this time, just to please me. Because as he says, happy wife, happy life. Yeah, anyway, I will probably go now to the stages of the stitching of the minister, the skating minister, and then it will probably go into me showing the piece framed, and I don't have any words when I'm doing it because there were distractions enough in there already without me peppering on. So and then I do have him here in the frame anyway with me, so I'll show that to you when you get back to me. So let's go to the minister now. yes, so that's him all done. Now I shall just, sorry, I've got something I'm holding here so I don't forget, and I'll probably forget now because I've put it down, but anyway, we'll hope I remember it. Right, here is the minister, and I just don't really have the words for him. He's going to go in the bedroom, and I just think it's going to be so nice to just see him every night skating along. 28 count, 1/1, and that's really a Stitch's definition of insanity when you think about it. But anyway, he's done now, so that's wonderful. So I'm going to put him down. Now I just want to speak a little bit on the squares here, because it really shows up in this sort of light because the light is so intense. But of course in natural light, as you saw on the video that I've shown you, you can't see those. But I was saying to Harlequin about it, and he said that he thought that it added to the character of the piece anyway. And then I was thinking about the opinion of the menfolk of our stitching. And there was one piece that I want to show you, well, two pieces actually that I want to show you to illustrate that the way they look at things is not necessarily the way you look at it or I look at it. Because as stitchers, I think we tend to be a little bit particular about our stitching at times. Men and women stitchers, because there are men and women that stitch, of course, and the way they would view the stitching. So I do have a picture that Harlequin has in his den, and I took it out some time ago now to show it on a parade that I had of my stitching. And when I went to put it back in the frame, it went in there quite crinkled, and I just called him Crinkle Cat after that. And I said to my husband, "Oh, you know, I'll straighten that out, or I'll lace it or something." And he said, "Oh no," he said, "leave it." He said that adds to the character of the piece. So anyway, I'll show it to you now, and you'll see what I mean. You see all those crinkles in there, but he loves it. He loves it like that. Now, I would suggest to you that a lot of stitchers, it would do their heads in to see something like that on the wall. They'd be, you know, wanting to run to an iron or something and get stuck in. But that wasn't his view at all. And my son feels the same way. And with that in view, the recent stitching of the petites, you know, the dimensions petites, I was looking for a frame for that, and I did find one, and it takes a line of stitching away, but you know, that's all right, that doesn't matter. I put it in this frame here, and it's got a crinkly sort of surface, because I said, well, you know, I can puff that out with something. And they said, no, just leave it. You know, it just adds to it. So there you go. That was this one here, Bayside Cottage. And I think I've lost a little bit of the stitching down here. But it really doesn't matter. You know, it's, I think it looks okay. But I mean, that frame was my late mother-in-law's actually, and she just had it in with a whole lot of things, and I thought, my goodness. So there you go. So it was just interesting to have a different point of view on something, because I know that it's very easy to get caught up with concerning yourself about how something looks if it's not perfect. But nothing is perfect. So just bear that in mind next time you're going to be framing something. Instead of agonizing over it for hours or putting it off because you think, oh, I won't do that very well, so I'll just leave it as it is, in a box under the bed or in a cupboard or something. Because, you can produce something that other people will actually appreciate. So anyway, I shall now go on to this. Someone was asking about the sulky for gridding that I tried that I didn't like. And sulky, they make threads for actually stitching as well, for crosses. But this is the thread, which you probably can't even hardly see it. But it's a bit like fishing line. And when you're trying to stitch with it, it sort of curls round on itself a bit. But the big advantage of it is if you can stick with it and get your grids in using it, it's very easy to pull out afterwards, which I suppose is an advantage, because if you're gridding with cotton or whatever, it can get caught up in what you're stitching. But I mean, my cotton, if it catches up in anything, I just leave it there. If it's not doing any harm, I just leave it. So what else have I got? Oh yes, here's the pen I was talking about, the blue water erasable grid pen. Clover Japan is it's a pen that Harlequin got for me. And I'll just show you. So I'll just get my stitching here. I'll do a little demo. Right, so here's the edge of the fabric, and I'm just going to put the colour on, and because the other end is supposed to rub it out, so we'll give it a go here. So I'll just put a line there. There's the line. All right, and then I'll go to the eraser end of it. Just rub it here. I suppose that's gone, isn't it? See a little bit of it there, just there. Oh, so that seems to do what it says on the packet. So there you are, you can get one of those. If you're thinking of gridding but you're a little bit freaked out about actually doing it, well, if you've got something that rubs it out, I suppose that would make you a little bit less concerned about using a pen, including myself. So I might give it a go, who knows. Now, what else was I going to show you today? I was going to just explain to Kerry, Kitty Stitcher, who I sent the dragon's picture to. I was going to just show her why the yellow flower didn't work. Wait till I just get I need my phone here. Now, for people who didn't see, I did that picture for Kerry, and basically one dragon is overlooking a garden of one type of flower or group of flowers, and the other dragon is overlooking flowers of a different kind. That was the idea anyway. And Kerry did say that she liked yellow. So I did try a yellow, but as you can see, it just took it over completely. So that was what I was meaning, Kerry. I thought that I had taken a picture of it, but I couldn't find the picture, and I thought, well, I must have just thought I did, and I didn't. But it turned out I took the picture on the mobile phone. So, and I thought, oh, I did take a picture. So I thought I'd just show Kerry that, with the indulgence of everyone else. I hope everything's going well for you, Kerry. I know it's been very hot over there, but hopefully things will settle down soon. Now, what else was I going to show you? Oh, now I was looking at 123 Stitch, and I saw this picture. It was a chart by Joan Elliott, as it happens. And I thought, that's Hazel. And Hazel was a character out of Upstairs Downstairs. Now, Upstairs Downstairs was a TV series before Downton Abbey, and a lot of people refer to it as the original Downton Abbey. And that's Upstairs Downstairs there. Here are all the characters. I think it's better than Downton Abbey, even though they had a very low budget, and they tried to be as accurate historically as possible. And it covered the Edwardian era, or the Victorian era end of, and the Edwardian era going into the First World War. And the characters, they didn't age the characters. They just put them into the next period in history and continued it on. I mean, they were a little bit aged, but not as much as they would have been in real life, because otherwise it wouldn't have worked. But it's one of my favourite pastimes to watch, Upstairs Downstairs. And they recently had a special edition of the anniversary. I can't remember if it's 165 Eaton Place. I'm trying to remember if it was 40 years or... Anyway, so many years since it was made. And there it is. And it is on the internet, actually, if you put in Google Upstairs Downstairs on YouTube. It does have the episodes. At the moment, I don't know if they'll stay there, but they are there at the moment. Anyway, what I'm trying to get to is I saw... These are the two that I saw. There was this one, Victorian Lady by Joan Elliott. And then there was this one, Edwardian Lady. Now, this one is very much like the character Miss Lizzie in Upstairs Downstairs. And this one is very much like the character of Hazel on Upstairs Downstairs. And I'll just show you what I mean here. Now, there's Hazel there. I couldn't get her, well, I could have got her full body. I could have taken a picture, but you can see, it's a very bad picture, but you can see she's got red hair, very much like the red hair there. It doesn't take much to imagine her as Hazel. Maybe Joan Elliott based her on Hazel, I don't know. And then Lizzie, who is the Victorian. There was Miss Lizzie, which is that one there. So, naturally enough, I thought I really should have those. So Harlequin got them for me, which is really, really nice of him. Going with the maxim of happy wife, happy life, I suppose, is what he was thinking. Bless his heart. And he also got me a little surprise, and I shall show that to you now. Paula Vaughan. And he got me the 2 volumes, the best of Paula Vaughan. Now, I suppose I can just show you the pictures, can't I? And then, if you decide that you would like to stitch any of these, you'll know which book to get. Now, there's the rather splendid Paula Vaughan herself. Now, here's the first one, the quilter. She seems to very much like patchwork quilts and things. Tea Roses and Romance. Actually, he got me 3 Paula Vaughans, but these are just the book 1 and book 2 I'm showing. Well, I'm just showing you book 1 at the moment, but there's another one. And you can see where a lot of cross-stitch designers have been influenced by Paula Vaughan. I think she would be considered to be quite oldie-worldy. What's that one called? Love Songs. I Love You Truly. Oh, you know, that's an old one, isn't it? I Love You Truly. And that one was Let's Pretend. I can remember dressing up when I was little, and actually I got my mother's wedding dress, and she had like a fur stole. It was real fur as well. I can remember going down in the garden wearing that wedding dress, and I think I left it out there, and it was retrieved, but it wasn't in the same condition as it went out there. How she put up with me, really. Quilting lessons. Aunt Verdi's Porch. A Cameo of the Past. Look at those shoes. Summer Breeze. That's got shades of Gone with the Wind, I suppose. From This Day Forward. Spring Remembered. Sunlight and Silhouettes. Victorian Bouquet. Sisters 3. The Fabric of Dreams. Something Old, Something New. Yesterday's Dream. reflections of the past. Rose of Sharon. The upstairs sewing room. Summers remembered. A little girl's fancy. And just in case anyone has wondered why I never mention my grandchildren, it's because I haven't got any. So that's why. I mean, I've had 3 children, and they all seem to be warned off having children themselves. So, oh dear. What's this one? A bouquet for Elizabeth. But I have one daughter, and I did say to her, don't have a child unless you really, really want one. You want one, not anyone else, you. So, the seamstress. Wedding ring bouquet. Summers remembered. And that's the end. All the rest of it, all that is all the charts for the pieces. Now, should I do book 2 for you? I suppose I should really, because there's nothing worse than getting half of something, is there? And then I'll show you Rise Above, where I'm up to with that. I'll do the stages first of that, and then I'll show you the stitching. So we'll just do book 2 here. The Best of Paula Vaughan, book 2. Right. She just seems to be such a nice person. Right, good neighbours. And they're a blessing in themselves to have good neighbours. It just really makes a difference. Delicate beauties. Forgotten basket. Through a mother's eyes. We've all been there. Not all of us, but a lot of us have been there. I don't think any changes in history are ever going to change a girl looking forward to being a bride one day and then being a bride. And what a wonderful time that is for any girl. Sonnets of Love. Rosy Repose. The Embroiderer. Oh, that's a good one. Might have a crack at that one. She worketh willingly with her needle. Proverbs. Oh, it must be from the Bible. Thoughts of spring. Oh, Little Women. Lisa May Alcott, is that? Who wrote that? I think it is. Anyway, there they are. She's got them all there. It's a favourite, isn't it? I'm trying to remember that film. I think June Allison was in it. Was Elizabeth Taylor in that one? Little Women? It was very nice anyway. Cherished Dreams. Simply Sunflowers. Cindy would like that. Cindy's cross stitch. If you haven't seen Cindy's cross stitch, have a look at her videos. I mean, they're just so special. She's such a beautiful person. Friendship Quilts. Hello to you, Cindy, too, if you're watching, because I saw your video when you went hiking and the horses and everything. It looks like it was a lovely day for you. Memories of Christmas. Love's Promise. And it says, for whither thou goest, I will go, and where thou lodgest, I will lodge. Ruth. Of course, Ruth was a very strong character in the Bible. Midsummer Roses. Summer Welcome. Morning Star. I am the root and the offspring of David, and the bright and morning star. Thy word. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet. The porch swing. Friendship bouquet. In the garret. Job's tears. I presume that's the name of the quilt. Spring remembered. Flower garden. Garden party. And then it goes into the charts there. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention too was Marlene Bush. I don't know if you have watched Marlene, Stitching by the Lake. It's always a delight to catch up with her. And the other day she was showing a chart that she is going to be stitching. And I'm trying to remember now. I have to pause you for a second while I just get the information. Pause. Right, here it is. It's of course I can hold it now, can't I? Excuse me. Just trying to show you that anyway. It's a sampler that she's going to be doing, and it's the verse that got her, and it got me as well. But I won't be doing this sampler though, because I'm not really a sampler person, number one. And number two, it suggested something else to me. And this is the verse that I've been referring to. And it's dark the night and wild the waves, Christ the boat is keeping. Trust in him and have no fear, though he seemeth sleeping. And I'm going to put some waves, just from, I've got a dimensions chart that has waves in it. I'm just going to use some of those and just put the verse in there, because of course it's from one of the Gospels, talking about how they were out in the waves, and a storm blew up, and it was, they were all terrified, and there was Jesus lying there asleep, and it went on from there, the story. But I was thinking about that, though he seemeth sleeping, and I sort of thought it's funny, with all the chaos that goes on in the modern world and all the unbelievable happenings, shall we say, it's almost as though you think he's sleeping. But that's not the case. He very much has the back of anyone who asks him for comfort and blessing. It's just that there's so much of the dark forces going on, and he is pure love, and so he can't. I don't think there's too many people probably that blame God for things that happen, or think it's God's will in everything. And my opinion is that if it's a bad thing that's happening, it's certainly not his will. I mean, you'd be naive to think that he's responsible for everything when there are so many dark forces around. He's the one responsible for all the good things happening. That's the point. That's what I think. But he's not all powerful. That's, I mean, there are people who say he is, and that everything is his will. My personal opinion, I mean, that may be their opinion, and that's how they express their faith and everything. But for me, I don't think that's the case. I think he absolutely has our best interests at heart. But he can only do so much and give people free will. And then it's down to them, isn't it? Anyway, I'll just show you where I'm up to with Rise Above. I'll just go to the stages first. That's now. that's where we're up to. And I'll tell you my microwave story before I sign off. That'll be shortly. Anyway, here's the where I'm up to with Rise Above. And as you can see, it's coming along very nicely. 18 count. I nearly got this horse in. And then here, down here, there's quite a way to go yet with, I haven't got the picture here. Have I? No, I don't think I do. But anyway, a lot more of this is down here. And then I'm going up to the top. I'll just pause a second, I'll just find that. Right, there it is there. So there's a lot more of this to go. And then just the top part. So, yeah, it's coming along. And once I've finished this one, I can get back to Dear Guest from Far Away, which is here. I just had it a second ago. That one. But I shall also be doing that Wild the Waves one as well. So managed to get a little bit of, oh yeah, that's all right. Yeah, so that's the one. I mean, that wouldn't be everybody's cup of tea, but I really like it. So that's the main thing, isn't it? Now, I'm just going to tell you about the microwave. The other night, because I think I've mentioned my custard and how quick I can make it and everything. And not one person said, yes, I've tried that, and it works well. I think it's because custard's probably not as popular as it once was. And if you do have custard these days, I think people usually just buy it in a carton and pour it on. But I mean, there's no comparison whatsoever to the real thing. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So anyway, when Christmas comes, I always get lots of puddings because you can only get Christmas puddings once a year. So I get enough that we can have some every now and again throughout the year. And I usually just heat it up in the microwave, that's fine. So we were sitting there and I said, why don't we have some Christmas pudding and custard for dessert? And of course, oh yes, we'll have that. So Harlequin and my son were sitting there waiting for it. And I went out and I put the Christmas pudding in the microwave and made the custard. And when I went to get the Christmas pudding out of the microwave, the door was jammed shut. Anyway, so I said, I can't get the pudding out. And my husband came, because I pushed this release mechanism, because, with microwaves you have to be careful, it's got to have a good, safe handle on it. Anyway, so I was pressing and nothing was happening. So Harlequin came out and I said, I've got the pudding in there. I said, it's getting cold. And I said, the custard is not going to be at its peak, So he tried to open it and, anyway, so I went and got a screwdriver and I said, we'll have to, jimmy it open like a safe. He looked horrified because my husband is not someone who would damage anything. If it's broken, you carefully take it apart and then you can reassemble it. But I think he must have seen the hysteria on my face. Happy wife, happy life. So I got that. I was trying to jam it open, and then he got it and he jammed it open, and there was a big spring there that was sort of holding the whole thing back. And I went to cut that with something, and he said, "Oh, don't cut that." He said it should just stretch, which it did. It stretched anyway. So we did rescue it. We got it out, and we had our pudding. But the microwave was damaged irreparably. But I mean, it was over 15, 20 years old. You know, it was because it was one of those double ones. You know, a microwave and an oven. Not that I ever used the oven part of it, but anyhow. So I was very thankful to Harlequin because I know that would have been very hard for him to jimmy that open. You know, it went against every fibre of his being to actually destroy something. And then, of course, he got online to order a new microwave, which came the next day. Because he knows I can't do without a microwave. Well, who can? And when the man came to deliver the microwave, they were taking the old one away. And I did feel it was my duty to actually tell him, you know, how the door got into the mangled condition it was in. And I said, I cooked the Christmas pudding. I said, I couldn't get it out and I had to jimmy it open. And he said, well, I can fully understand. He said, there was a Christmas pudding in there. He said, you couldn't leave that in there. So he was quite supportive. So that's the Christmas pudding and the microwave. But the new one we've got is very nice. It plays a little tune when it's finished, you know. Rather than a ting, it sort of plays a little jingle. Mind you, if you sort of stop it, it stops, or if you open the door, it stops jingling. So that's very good, because I mean, there's only so much jingling you can put up with, I think, in a kitchen. Anyway, that is all from me today. I hope your stitching goes well, and that you've had a bit of fun joining me today. And I must say, and I shouldn't really have left this to the end, an absolute thank you to all those wonderful people that have encouraged me to finish Skating Minister, because I'm not sure that I would have actually finished him off. Not because I didn't want to, I did. But there was just so much to go, and those stitches were so tiny. And I'm not getting any younger. But I think he's as much of a dedication to you as he is to me. I mean, I can't look at him without thinking of other stitches and how amazing they are and how kind they are. So thank you for that very much, and I shall catch you all next time. Bye for now.